How would you describe Joe Rogan to someone who has never encountered him?
It's a fucking joke.
He just spews so much misinformation.
Go back to doing Fear Factor.
I don't care to listen to it.
I really don't like Joe Rogan.
Whether he wants to admit it or not, podcaster Joe Rogan certainly did help usher in a new wave of Trump support, especially when he not only decided to court Donald Trump as a nominee for the 2024 presidential campaigns, but also he attended the inauguration and got a shout out from none other than Dana White, the head of the UFC. So what I decided to do was ask Chicago, do you like Joe Rogan? How do you feel about him? Here were Chicago's answers. Before we get into it, please, if you can, give this video a thumbs up. Subscribing is absolutely free. You can become a member of this channel as well to keep it afloat. Now here is that piece. How would you describe Joe Rogan to someone who has never seen them before?
It's like the brother you wish you never had, role model and mentor.
How would you describe Rogan to a normie?
A Sandy Hook denier, a racist, a misogynist. Yeah.
Do you know who Joe Rogan is?
Oh, yeah.
And how would you describe Joe Rogan to someone who has never seen or encountered him at all?
He's, I would say, he's a podcaster, a right-wing podcaster.
Yeah. Do you like him?
I've never listened to his podcast, I can't say.
Do you know who Joe Rogan is?
I've heard the name. I don't think I've ever watched him.
Do you know who Joe Rogan is?
Yes, I've heard of him. He's a podcaster, isn't he? Or
What do you think of him?
part of the big problem right now is that all this stuff is out here
Right.
and it's overbalanced. Well, it's getting a lot of attention. And so people are listening to that and they're believing it. I mean, I don't understand it, but we've gone through these things before. Everything goes up and down in life. And I'm hoping that this is the valley of the right wing, extreme right wing.
And do you know who Joe Rogan is?
I do know who Joe Rogan is.
What do you think of Joe Rogan?
I don't watch him. I've seen those, on TikToks, on Reels. I've seen what he says. I don't care to listen to it, which kind of sucks because then I'm put into a vacuum. Because, in social media, the streams, if I don't watch, then I don't get to hear more of what is said. So my opinion on him is that I don't watch, therefore I don't have an opinion because my streams or my feed isn't filled with his message. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Isn't that a positive, though?
For my mental state, yes.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah.
Mentally, it is. I get to live life and enjoy social media for what I'm looking for. And that's, positive messages, motivational speeches, things that are uplifting to the community. So anything that is negative, my feed won't share with me. So mentally, yes. To be politically aware, I don't know. With the free speech or the freedom of press getting diminished, it's hard to get that unbiased opinion and to be able to read an article on the positive and on the negative side. I'm in my late 40s. I had the pleasure of reading the Tribune, the Sun-Times, the Daily Herald, things. But their editors would always make sure that there were two voices heard. And now, for me personally, when it's only social media, it's either I'm in my own vacuum of positivity and joy and love for the world, or you're in the other vacuum. So you just continue to get the same message, and there's no unbiased, reporting.
That's fair. How would you describe Joe Rogan to someone who has never encountered him?
It's a fucking joke.
If you want entertainment, by all means, watch it. You got a bunch of unqualified people that go on this show, and including him, unqualified people giving opinions on things that they read a Google article on, or there was one I saw that where they quoted The Onion, for God's sakes. That is satire, guys.
Yes.
That was, unless you're doing it just for the clicks, there's no reason to ever quote the goddamn Onion.
Right. To give an idea, by the way, I saw a recent article that The Onion put out where they said, breaking, ICE is arresting the leaves because they're turning brown in the fall.
I just saw that on the way here.
To give an idea of what they're quoting.
Well, there was the Stop and Kiss thing they did,
I didn't
for
see
New
that
York. So when New York had to stop and frisk, The Onion came out and did a stop and kiss video where they had the cops stopping everybody and kissing them, you know? So that gives you the context of this newspaper. And it's hilarious, but you can't use that to argue any kind of political anything, you know?
Do you know who Joe Rogan is?
Yes.
What do you think of him?
Now or later. Or before. He said
Those are all good answers, by the way.
He said smart things lately that I, like MTG, and I agree with her today. What is happening, you know? So I think it's just that he's like all about the free speech. He's like, we have to have free speech on both sides now. We can't do this, Mega. It's stupid. And I'm like, wait, I agree with him? I don't listen to him every day, but the excerpts I've seen, I'm like, what the heck? So if we keep that message going about the fundamental rights, I think that's a sticking point to those folks that are kind of on the edge and not really sure.
Do you know who Joe Rogan is?
Yes, I do.
What do you think of him?
I really don't like Joe Rogan. You know, never did, and I didn't like what he stands for, and you know, I don't even listen to his podcast or his radio show or whatever it is. And to me, he just seems to be a flip-flopper.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? You know, now he's trying to be on the right side of democracy, and I think it's too late. You know, so you know, I that's what I feel about Joe Rogan.
Do you know who Joe Rogan is?
Yes.
What do you think of Joe Rogan?
A useful idiot. Yeah, I don't get it. He's just stupid. So, yeah.
What do you think the Democrats could be doing better? Do you know who Joe Rogan is?
Yes, I do.
And what do you think of him?
Honestly, I think he has slowly weaved his way into just regular people and slowly kind of converted them into the mess that is MAGA. I mean, I know people who are very liberal who started liking him because of some like comedy jokes that he made. And I'm like, don't listen. I don't think you're listening fully on what he is telling and what he's saying in his stories. It's not great.
Do you know who Joe Rogan is?
Yeah.
What do you think of him?
Honestly, don't really fuck with him. So,
lastly, as you see it, what can the Democrats be doing better?
helping us, you know, stop siding with Trump and what he got going on in his delusional mind. Because at the end of the day, he's one person. That's like, for example, Hitler. One person changed the whole country. Similarities. Mm-hmm. So that's all I really got to say.
I appreciate your time.
Thank you.
Thank you, bro. I'm sorry to hear about. How do you feel about Joe Rogan and his influence on mass media?
Shout out to Joe Rogan, man. I like Joe Rogan, man.
You do?
Yeah, oh hell yeah, I like Joe Rogan, man.
You listen to him often?
Sometimes, you know. I'm a big UFC fan, so I'll be watching his stuff right there. But he's about free speech, you know. That's what I get out of him.
Do you know who Joe Rogan is?
Unfortunately, again, I do.
What do you think of Joe Rogan?
I don't think a lot about him.
Do you know who Joe Rogan is?
I 100% know who that is.
What do you think of Joe Rogan?
I think that he is just, he's one of the worst. Like he just spews so much misinformation and he's so one-sided on certain things, like on his show. I did hear as well too, which is very embarrassing for straight men. Apparently it's some like new Joe Rogan craze that these women have to deal with on their dates, where they'll go on dates and these guys are so Joe Rogan obsessed that they are like, you know, bringing them up on the show. But I think that he's very dangerous on their side because he does have such a big following, and a lot of the stuff that he says gets to, you know, a lot of young adults. And that's why we're here today, is that a lot of the young adults have been brainwashed into believing all of these things that they've tried to cover up, you know, about this country. I think this administration really just wants to makes it seem like this country has always just been glitz and glamour, and this has always been the land of the free, and it's not. And they're trying to erase that history because they don't want that perfect image of America to be, you know, tarnished. So pretty much the pictures that they've been painting to younger adults that haven't really taken the time to like do their research on the history like of America, it's getting to them, and now we're here today.
Do you know who Joe Rogan is?
I do.
What do you think of Joe Rogan?
I think you should go back to doing Fear Factor.
Do you know who Joe Rogan is?
I do also know who Joe Rogan is.
What do you think of Joe Rogan?
I think if you haven't seen the clip of him going in the ice bath and he turns like tomato red, I think that's pretty emblematic of who he is as a guy. I think he can be a little bit of a fence sitter, which is kind of a bummer. I haven't been staying in tune with all of his stuff He talks with great people. I think he had a really good conversation with Bernie. Somewhat recently. I love Bernie. He's my GOAT. And, he had a good conversation with him. And it's in that, you can kind of see how, like, he rides the fence a bit, and then he doesn't like know. He's like so ignorant and unaware of like the stuff that Bernie's bringing up. Towards the end of the interview, Bernie starts to get frustrated with him, and he's like, no, Joe, like that's just not how it works. Right. And that's emblematic of like a lot of his audience, I believe. Not to paint too many generalizations, but I feel like that's similar people that are like people that turned towards Trump in 2016. Is like they simply don't know. And so like our obligation, and especially yours as independent media, is to at least put the information out there. Do what you can, have those conversations, and maybe people will listen to it and have at least a second thought.
Do you know who Joe Rogan is?
Yeah.
What do you think of him?
I don't know. Sometimes I see him be a fucking idiot. Sometimes he does try to take accountability. So he's a human. He's hopefully growing to be better.
Do you know who Joe Rogan is?
No.
Do you know who Joe Rogan is?
I don't. I do know who Joe Rogan is. I'm not the most literate person on Joe Rogan, but I know who he is. I know he has a podcast.
What do you think about him from what you know?
I don't watch. I've seen clips through like social media. I don't watch that stuff. I didn't have a TV for a long time. I bought a TV during COVID because I figured if I were isolated, I might want to have a television. I don't turn it on. I read my news, the Associated Press, the BBC, Al Jazeera. I do still keep my New York Times subscription at some crazy discount, and but that's all I pay for at this one. NPR, public media, the Sun Times at this point. And so that's where I go, where I know I can find accurate, and Reuters. Those are my sources for news. So
all very, very, very good and very quality.
I don't watch or listen to.
That's good.
Yeah,
that's a positive.